Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford here on A's Cast Live. Skipper, how are you?
I'm doing well. Friday afternoon. Weather's starting to warm up. Backdrop of the bridge and the field behind us here. What a stage.
Yeah, it's been so far when you look at everything that we've been able to do production-wise and everything, and just the beauty of the ballpark. I think can't say enough about how nice it's been.
No, it really has. We obviously still have some things we're working out behind the scenes to the ballpark. From a player's standpoint, I think the building itself is really, worked out well. It's new. The flow of the building's great. The amenities that are inside there to get their workouts in, to get their hydrotherapy and the recovery, and the food room and such. So it's been a nice start to the year outside of the wins and losses at this place.
I thought it was interesting after the last game against the Padres, where it was a low-scoring game, and you were asked about the ballpark, and you're like, hey, listen, we've seen the ball fly out, and then you saw that game where it was killing fly balls, so you really don't know yet.
Yeah, you don't know how this park's going to play yet, and like you mentioned, it was a day game. It was warm, but the wind was blowing across from foul pole to foul pole. Sodi hit a ball at 106 to center field that got knocked down, and yet we saw opening night against the Cubs, Dansby Swanson hit a ball 102, and it goes off the seeing eye. So, we're still getting settled in here. We're still getting the data to kind of see how this ballpark's going to play. But overall, I mean, the facility is, it's meeting expectations, and we're getting our feet on the ground.
So as we're doing this interview, it's right before the start of the Mets series, the last 3 games of this homestand, 13 games in. Just kind of give an overview of how you feel your team's played.
Yeah, I think we've pitched really well in some games, and we haven't pitched really well. I think that's kind of the tell. Obviously it starts with starting pitching. When we've had good starting pitching, we've won games, and our offense. We've obviously done a great job offensively of putting up some runs. We continue to slug. We still hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think the day game was the first game we went without a home run. So we had 12 games in a row of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And, for us as a team, that's kind of what we're built around. But we also know that we can pitch, and when we do, we win games.
We talked so much about Lawrence Butler at the end of last year and watching him come into his own. Now we're seeing Tyler Soderstrom and Jacob Wilson. How much fun is it to watch these young guys start to blossom right in front of your eyes?
No, it's great. And obviously, Max Muncy being the youngest of the group, and having him here for from the start of the season based, on Zach Geloff getting injured. And, it's been fun to watch him. He's, you can always tell when a player gets here, the anxieties, the emotion, the excitement about it all. And yet, I think he's starting to settle in. We saw some better at-bats over the last 3 games. And I think, this kid's a talented kid. He can really impact the game. But the start that, Jacob's on right now is hard not to talk about, right? Jacob Wilson. It's funny. Starting pitcher tonight, Canning for the Mets. That was his debut, and he got that hit, his first at bat, and then he tried to score on Lawrence's ball, and he got hurt. Right, so knock on some wood wherever that is.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen tonight.
I think about how a manager's job is to help these young kids as they enter the big leagues, and I think about your experience and Jim Leland taking you to the racetrack to bet on the ponies. I'm assuming you don't do that with your rookies.
No, I don't take them to the racetrack. There's not one near. I would take them to the racetrack. Believe me. I mean, hey, at Keeneland today, the pick 6 is worth like $215K. Yeah. But, I mean, come on. I do still follow the ponies, and that was all, like you said, it was all kind of laid out for me by Jim Leland, a Hall of Famer.
One of the great stories. We're talking a lot about Jacob Wilson and projecting what he's going to be, and we had Tony Gwynn Jr. By the way, how do you like the new set?
That's great. I mean, there's bugs all over me, but we're doing great right now. Don't worry.
The lights are, but it looks a lot better than what it used to be, right?
It's not on the field. I mean, I thought you liked that coziness of being on the field.
You guys didn't want us on the field. There's not enough
room. Brings back your college days, right? Like on the field.
So when I think about Jacob Wilson, we had Tony Gwynn Jr. here, and you start looking at Ichiro, who's going into the Hall of Fame, and you think about Boggs. Of course, you played in San Diego. You know all about Tony Gwynn. it's kind of reminiscent of a guy who shows up every day and gets 2, 3, and at worst a hit a game. Just talk about just his ability to make solid contact over and over again. This is a really special skill.
It's a great skill. It's one that isn't in the game as that we play now. Very few hitters have the ability to hit the ball all over the field. It's a player that has incredible bat to ball skill. We talk about it. He's got some more strength from his season last year to this season. He can impact the baseball a little bit better. But again, defenses have a hard time putting guys in the right places, and I can speak to that. I mean, we just came off the series with Arise. I think Arise had probably 5-6 hits in the series. He didn't do a ton of damage, right? But he's just that at bat where you just throw it over the middle, let him hit it, and get him out of here. Like, don't waste 7, 8, 9 pitches trying to strike him out.
That's kind of the old philosophy of Tony Gwynn, right? When you played against him?
Yeah, Tony always used to talk about the toughest pitch to hit was the one right down the middle because he just didn't know which way to hit it, right? So, there's something to be said about that and the way you approach the baseball. But, for Jacob, it's been nice to watch right now. The start that he's had, whether it's sustainable or not, who knows? We're hopeful that he can continue to just stay healthy and play a healthy season, really.
Well, and also we're going to talk so much about his offense, but let's not forget he's been pretty good on defense too.
He has. We've really worked hard on a first step drill all spring training. Eric Martin's Bobby Crosby's been a big part of that. Obviously, Crosby being a shortstop at the major league level and a rookie of the year. Don't forget that.
Oh, he doesn't let me forget that.
So from that standpoint, it's somebody that it's a resource that Jacob has had to rely on, and I think Bobby's really helped in those first step. Gaining ground. We in the data you can always measure it now. It's called reaction distance. It's the amount of ground covered in this first 1.5 seconds. Last year he was averaging in or around like 6 feet. Now he's up to 8 feet. So that's a big improvement, and I think we're seeing the result of that on the field right now.
When you think about some of your pitchers who are starting to emerge, we talk a lot about on the post-game show about how guys will earn their right to get more high leverage innings. And I think of what Murdoch's done for you, the Rule 5 pick, Sterner. You've had some guys really step up so far in your bullpen. Talk about these young guys.
Yeah, we have, and we've also had some guys that pitched for us last year continuing to perform, in Tyler Ferguson. This kid, Sterner, I find a lot of similarities to Tyler. I mean, he had 7 days in the big leagues last year with Tampa, so really not very much. Fergie had 0 time with the Diamondbacks. He hadn't kind of broke in, and both these guys were kind of impact guys down in the bullpen right now, and it's been great to see Sterner just come in and be able to handle that those leverage moments, and then for Murdoch, a Rule 5 kid from Kansas City that our baseball ops did a great job in identifying. To bring him in and to see the success he's having. Both those kids have done a really good job.
I mean, you played 17 years in the big leagues. As a manager, how great is it to finally give some of these guys just their opportunity, just to give them a shot at it, a chance?
No, it's great. You always are looking for, talent that hasn't been given that opportunity to see how it performs. And, it's obviously exciting. It's also, I don't want to use the word nerve-wracking, but as a manager, when you're putting a guy in a situation, you want to try to put him in the right one for success right away, but sometimes that just doesn't work out. And for Murdoch, I mean, he came in a big high-leverage moment, one of his first 2 outings, and I think he went punch-out, ground out, and then threw another scoreless. So those are the moments that, as a manager, you really get joy out of.
We haven't talked to you since that game. Speaking of Murdoch going those 2 innings in Coors Field, take us back to that opening day. We talked to you that morning. What was that game like? 3 hours and 21 minutes, snow flurries.
Yeah, it was a challenging game. Probably one of the more challenging games that I've been a part of for, I've been in the major league level now for 28 seasons. I don't recall a game that had weather like that really challenged you mentally to stay focused, and this group did that. I mean, I used the word grit. I'll use it again. They showed that above and beyond that day, especially, giving up the lead in the 8th, and then, in the 10th there with Murdoch, getting out of that inning with the bases loaded and stepping off that mound. We had all the momentum in the world, and We get a big hit again from Jacob Wilson with 2 outs to put us ahead, and that was a big win for this club. And then they bounced back the next day, a night game in Colorado, and temperature started at 38 and might have finished at 32, and another win that day. So those were 2 good games for this ball club.
All right, quickly, the New York Mets, before we get out of here, they come to town for 3 games, very good pitching. They've got a bunch of stars in their lineup. What do you see with the Mets?
Yeah, I mean, it's a talented team for sure. They went to the postseason last year. We're not going to get a break here. We just came off the Padres, a team that was talented. They went to the postseason. Now we've got the Mets. We got our work cut out for us. We played really well last year against them in New York. The expectation level is we're going to go out and play really well at home.
All right, let's end on this. Folsom Lake Ford, how's the Bronco doing?
Bronco's great. It's a little dirty, but we'll get it cleaned up.
Appreciate the time. Good luck. And then next week we'll talk to you on the road.
Sounds good.
The Mark Kotsay Show brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford right here on A's Cast Live.